Welcome to Creative Piecemeal. I'm Tammy Takeishi, a board-certified music therapist. Join me each week as a new guest from across the fine and creative arts spheres shares struggles, triumphs, laughs, words of wisdom, and more in authentic, thought-provoking, and inspiring interviews. Hello and welcome to Creative Piecemeal. Today I'm with Rex Larkman. He is a member of the reggae rock band Tropidelic. They continue to carve out their own lane with the release of their new single, No Fear, and their new full-length album, which just came out not too long ago, called First Light, their upcoming album. It's a blend of reggae rock grooves and hip-hop swagger, punchy brass, funk rhythms, and arena-sized hooks. They're a Cleveland-based band. They built a sound that refuses to stay confined to one genre. I really like them a lot. I am sort of new to this genre, but I like that they blend it. I love this sort of easy style, and they're on tour. So if you're hearing this and it's summertime, you can catch them August through September across the United States. So definitely check out their website in the show notes to purchase their album, stream their album, and buy their tickets. But Rex, hello, and thank you for joining us.
Hello, thank you for having me. That was a great intro. I appreciate that.
My pleasure, my pleasure. I know your band is made up of multiple members, but they're not here to boast about themselves. So we get to talk all about you. And I would love to know what got you into music and how did you end up finding Tropidelic?
I was like since eighth grade, I was a drummer. I was in like eighth grade. Since I was 8 years old. In second grade, I was in like the school band playing drums, like some hot cross buns, easy music, easy drumming stuff. But I've always loved music. My parents are big classic rock fans. My dad's a huge prog rock fan with like Rush and Genesis with Phil Collins and stuff like that. So I always grew up with music in my household, always on the deck in the back, just hanging out with my parents and stuff growing up. I kind of started drumming around like a little bit more seriously when I was like 12. I started with YouTube, like filming myself doing drum covers. I have years and years of videos on YouTube from when I was like 12 to like 25. And now with Tropidelic, there's just so much content everywhere. But I was playing in punk bands back in like 2016 and 2017 in Cleveland. And I had known of Tropidelic because Trop has been around for a very long time. And I knew of Trop, but I wasn't like the biggest fan or anything. I just didn't know much about the guys. And then in 2018, I was playing a house show, and our rapper of Tropidelic, James, he lived at that house and saw my set and saw my drumming and asked me to join the band. And I was like, cool, I'd love to. I'd love to give it a shot. Especially I was never in any touring bands or anything before 2018. I'd done some shows out of state, but nothing crazy. So yeah, James kind of gave me the opportunity, and I've been with Tropidelic ever since. And we've toured the country many a times, outside of the country, all over. And it's been a wild ride. But yeah, music's always been a part of my life, and I've just been blessed to be able to now make it a living and to share what we can do in our new music and what I can do behind the drum kit and just share the love of music everywhere I go.
That's really great. What's one of your favorite things about the new album, where there was like a favorite memory of recording something, or a favorite song, or a favorite lyric?
Ooh, I remember we recorded it all, a majority of it in Cleveland. I recorded some drums in Syracuse, New York as well with our buddy Jocko. But a majority of it was recorded in Cleveland with our friend and producer Craig Broadhead. Um, he lives on the east side of Cleveland, so there were just many days. It took about a year or more to write the album on the east side, just driving over there with my singer and my keyboardist, and it was just constantly pitching new ideas, constantly pitching demos until we kind of landed on these 12 songs that are out now, First Light, and kind of all reminiscent of each other. That's one thing you kind of said in the beginning too, like we're an eclectic sound, live especially. There's a lot going on. But when we were starting the writing of this album, we wanted to write something a little bit more cohesive. We had many songs, hit the cutting room floor that didn't make the final track list. But out of the 12 that we do have, we feel like it was just so cool to like have a project where everything kind of complemented each other. And the whole record as a whole, I've been talking in a few other interviews and stuff as well, is just preaching positivity, both sonically with the music and also lyrically. James and Rhodes, my singers, they're brilliant lyricists. And we just kind of felt like it all came together so naturally after, some trials and errors. But the whole process was fun. It's always fun to write an album. It's always fun to like even butt heads and, you know, not argue, but everyone has got their creative ideas and it's like what's going to make the cut. It's always a fun process. But working with Craig was great and finalizing a project that I'm really proud of front to back that kind of all fits together is something that we really strived for and I think we accomplished with this album. So yeah, all of it was great. Every moment was awesome. But yeah, working with Craig was a blast. It just kind of opened our minds to new musical techniques and new ways of writing songs, and it opened us all up to like create an album that we've never thought we'd create.
That's nice. It sounds like obviously with so many people in your band, collaboration, creativity, those are friendship, those are the keys to success.
Indeed, indeed. Tropidelic is a well-oiled machine, and all of us kind of have our own jobs that we do to just support the overall project. And then we come together on stage, and I love meeting fans and meeting people at the shows. It's always awesome to hear their reactions and opinions to the new album. And this summer we're going to be able to do that and like actually go to everyone in the country and be like, hey, and celebrate the music that we created with them. So that's really cool. But yeah, everyone in the band has input. Everyone in the band writes stuff. And yeah, there's six of us on stage, but there's so many people behind the scenes that help make Tropidelic work. So shout out to all of them, everyone in the crew, everyone behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, it's definitely a team effort for sure.
Any band is, yeah, any artistic project is. And sometimes you just gotta work together on it.
Well, I was wondering what your personal creative process looks like. What are some things that you find frustrating? What are some things you find joy in? And what are some things that maybe as you've grown as a musician, you've maybe evolved within your process?
I come from like a metal and like punk drumming background, but back in the day when I was in high school and earlier, I used to listen to Sublime and like Less Than Jake and a lot of ska punk bands, which is like reggae punk basically.
Those are
Uh,
so good. I remember those.
oh yeah, Real Big Fish, a bunch of them. I was a Warped Tour kid, so like reggae and ska were always kind of part of my discography of drumming. To kind of tie it into the teamwork thing, it's like since I was a metal drummer, I pretty crazy. I'm a pretty crazy drummer. I do a lot of crazy fills and sometimes unnecessary. Like when I was younger, it would be just like, how crazy and difficult can I make this song? And now, as a more mature creative artist and writer, I've learned that the drums are kind of like the backbone of a song and don't need to be so show offy or they don't need to be too crazy. It's the drums and the rhythm of the bass are like the glue that keeps all of the other elements together in the song. So I've learned over the years that like I don't have to be playing the craziest takes of all time on all of our songs just because I feel like it'd be cool. I now write drum parts for the sake of the song and for the sake of other people's ideas and inputs. I simplify my playing. I've been drumming for over 20 years now, and in my maturity of my career, I've learned that simplicity is difficult, maybe even more difficult than going crazy behind the drum kit. To like really sit back and let the song be its own thing with the support of my playing and my writing. I think is how I've evolved as a musician too, is I've got a better understanding that like it's not just me, it's all six of us on stage making this song come to life. And I've learned through writing this album in the last few that to simplify my playing for the sake of the song. And I think that's just something I also would love other people to hear. Because as a kid, I never wanted to hear it. I wanted to make things crazy. But in the long run, these are some of our biggest songs and most well-received tracks we've ever written on the new album. So it seems to be working, and I'm like proud of my drumming. It's nothing like the album isn't crazy drumming, but I'm proud of all the parts because they, support the bigger whole of the album. And lyrically, I don't touch too much. I let Rhodes and James, my singers, do all that, and they're so good at it that anytime they come with something, I'm like, "Yep, that's it." I don't need to say too much about it. But in the studio, we're all like humming different melodies and we're all coming up with different guitar parts and different chord progressions together. I wrote a bass line that made it into the album, Up in Smoke. I just wrote that in my room where I'm talking to you from right now on my bass guitar in the corner. I was just jamming around and I was like, this is cool. And then it turned into one of the songs on the album. So anyone can really just come with ideas and we just keep writing. We're already writing the next album. This one only came out less than a month ago. So it's just a constant idea creation process. But for my drumming specifically, I just wanted to point out one more time that like simplicity is key. And that's something I've learned along the way that can really make or break a song is the drums and the rhythm. This whole album was like heavily rhythm, like dedicated to the rhythm. Like the bass lines and the guitar parts were all kind of in sync with the drums. Everything's locked in. And I'm just really proud that everything turned out the way it did.
That's really great. Yeah, and I mean, I love drums. I That's something that I don't play, but I always wanted to. Instead, my parents handed me instruments that are equally loud, but I guess
Babies.
they appreciated it more, you know.
Drums are the most fun instrument. I love hitting stuff. You just sit in it. You sit the whole time, and then you just beat. What could be more fun?
Yeah,
It's like your own personal rage room at all times. I find myself to be a very chill person, and I have always wondered if it's because I drum. I take all the anger out.
perhaps, perhaps. Yeah, no, drums are so fun. I've played drum kit like just casually on occasion, like just for fun, but I've never like properly learned. But I tell you what, like you have to have like so much strength in your feet for the
Yeah.
for the for the kick bass drum. I did not know that.
Some coordination there for sure, hand and foot coordination that takes a long time for anyone. I learned how to drum kind of on my own. I had a few teachers, but drum set I actually learned from Rock Band and Guitar Hero, the video games.
Oh wow.
I'm one of those guys, like Post Malone and some other musicians who've been like, yeah, I learned from Guitar Hero. I was just really good at the drum kit as a kid, and those playing the game is literally playing the drum part just on a plastic machine. And my dad kind of saw that in me, and that's when he got me my first drum kit and kind of like steered me in the direction of doing this. He was never a musician or anything. He's always loved music, like I said, but he was, the inspiration behind like pushing me to better myself because he saw something in me as a kid that I have turned into my life, my livelihood now. But yeah, hand and feet coordination is not an easy thing to figure out. I feel you. Rock Band made it fun. I'll be honest.
Shout out to those old school video games for sure.
Yeah, they sometimes it'll change your life. Some little video game from years back, you never know.
What's something that you love about touring?
Oh, what do I love about touring? I love seeing the country. Like we've been doing not too much touring this year. We're about to, like you were saying, in August and September, we're gonna be gone for the longest we've been all year, for like one period of time. But we've done some fly dates out to like Oregon and to some beautiful spots of Oregon, just seeing mountains and everything. Tour can be chaos, I'll be honest, sometimes. And experiencing that chaos with your brothers and your friends in the band and the crew and everyone is like always an exciting time. Being in a city you know nothing about and just going to walk around town to get coffee with your buddies is just such a fun experience. And then the shows, like I was saying earlier, just being able to meet people where they're at and go to their town and give them the best day of their lives or the best day of their year coming to the show and then seeing that smile on their face. I love meeting people. I love sharing the love of music. So like my favorite parts of tour are in fact just kind of meeting the fans and getting to talk to people and hear their stories and they'll tell you how much the music means to them, and it's just a beautiful time. And then also seeing the beautiful areas that they live in. And reggae, this is a fun thing we were talking about the other day. Speaking of like metal, is like in metal tours go to kind of grungy venues, but reggae and being in the reggae world always kind of takes you to like beaches. Like we're always playing a sunny beach or like some beautiful terrain festival. And so I find myself by the ocean playing drums a lot, which is amazing. And so that's also another fun thing about the scene that I'm in and the scene that we get to explore and the shows we're offered and stuff. They're always in beautiful places.
Nice. If we were to sneak a peek at your music collection from high school versus now, what are some things we'd find?
You find a lot of screamo in high school. I'm pulling up my Spotify as we're talking right now. You'd find a lot of heavy Warp Tour stuff, a lot of punk stuff, a lot of like scene screamo bands, like early Bring You the Horizon. I was a big Metallica fan also in high school and grade school and stuff like that. But nowadays you'd find a little bit of everything. Last year I was on a huge Geese train. If you've ever heard of Geese? Um, they're from New York City. Uh, they're kind of like a big, I don't even know what to describe them, alternative indie rock band, just rock band. Been listening to a lot of them, more hip hop than I would have ever expected to be listening to nowadays, too, than when I was in high school. I love this rapper named Prof. We've done some shows with him. We have a song with Prof as well, our song called Neighborhood. That also features Bone Thugs and Harmony, which are Cleveland staples. And through being in Trop over the years, it's really opened my mind to the like what the world of hip hop is and how awesome of a genre and a community it is and how influential it is on the world. What else have I been listening to lately? I got some Iration on here. Those are my boys. They're in our scene, another like reggae summertime band. I love Iration. I love a lot of my friends' new music. Little Stranger, their new album just came out on Friday. They're who we're going to be on tour with all summer. Um, so I have some of their new albums saved right now, and I've been listening to it. Got some AFI, some Franz Ferdinand, some I just still love punk and metal and hardcore. I love all of that stuff. But now I just kind of listen to everything when back then I would focus more on just one or two punk genres or metal genres. Now I'm open to everything. I love jazz, I love funk, I love anything that makes me feel good.
Nice. What is one of the best shows you've ever had and why?
We throw a festival down in near Columbus, Ohio every year. It's called Everwild Music Festival. That's coming up too in like 2 weeks, which is crazy. Um, this year we have like 311 and Dirty Heads on it. But every time we play Everwild, it just feels like a family endeavor. We bring all of our friends' bands that we've made on tour over the years to Ohio, and then we played an amazing show to all of our most diehard Tropidelic fans. Hell, people that have been like following Tropidelic before I was even in the band. Um, they all show up and they all just lose their minds, and they all have friends they've made over the years from Tropidelic shows. So every Everwild is one of my favorite days of the year, and sometimes my favorite shows. It's like I dreamed of what crowds would look like as a kid, and I see that at my own festival, which is incredible. We've also done Red Rocks twice, and I just have to shout those out as two of the best shows I've ever played because it's the crowd there is just beautiful and wild to look at from the stage, and just being at Red Rock, such a legendary venue, is really just such a dream come true for a music kid like I was and still am.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah,
remember I've never been there, but I've heard about that particular venue and it just looks amazing and seems amazing.
it's so steep. The stairs that the crowd is like stands on is so steep, and the stage is so low that I call it a tsunami of humans. Just kind of like you have to like look up to see the top of the crowd, and it's just surreal to see. But yeah, those are probably two of my favorites. Every year at Everwild, where it just feels like we're home, and everyone that's ever supported us shows up, and then Red Rocks for sure. And then Warped Tour. We did play Warped Tour, the last touring Warped Tour in 2018. And that was like the only thing I ever wanted to do as a kid was play one day of Warped Tour. And we got to play the last six before it no longer was a tour. Now it's kind of like a festival thing that they do.
Yeah, it's really like exploded into something even bigger. I remember Warped Tour as a kid.
Yeah. Oh my God. It was definitely more of a niche sort of crowd back then. And now it's I kind of look at it like a little Coachella or like a little like Bonnaroo for the emo alternative rock scene. And it now they only do like 3 dates a year. I think it's like DC, somewhere in Florida, and somewhere out in LA. But I would love to play it again. I would love to do another Warped Tour. I know they're still doing it, and we got lucky enough to be on the actual tour of Warped Tour, which is a crazy, crazy tour. It's just chaos. Everyone's fending for themselves in the heat. But yeah, I would love to do that again. That would be super cool. We still got goals and aspirations and dreams after this record. We're pushing it to its limits, but we're still touring and still have goals and stuff that the band wants to accomplish.
Yeah, of course. It's always important to be able to grow as a band, as a person, as a musician, like to keep striving,
This album is that. This is us growing into the more adult version of our sound. I don't know. People are like, "Oh, they have a mature sound." Maybe you could consider it that, but to me, it's just like been a natural progression with this album, and now it just feels like we've found a sound. Because in the past, our albums are like, is it hip hop? Is it reggae? Is it funk? It's all of it. But this new album is like a defined sound that feels like Tropidelic for all of us. And yeah, we're proud of it. And we're like I said, we're working on another one too, and it'll come out probably 2 years from now or something, whenever we finish it. But it's already kind of like leaning toward what we did with this new album. But you never know. It always takes a weird turn through the writing process, and it may become something totally different. That's just who we are. But uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, the goal, like everything that we've done over the years together, is kind of culminated into this one new album that we're all super proud of, and there's like no skips for any of us. We all love what we made, and it feels like Tropidelic. The name resembles the music, and yeah, we're just proud of it, and just hope everyone enjoys it.
Yeah, I can definitely tell though of the songs that I've had a chance to hear. It's so good and like definitely sounds like you've all found that footing that you've been looking for.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that we feel the same, definitely.
I was wondering,
Hit me. What have you been wondering?
if you could play any other instrument other than drums, or maybe you already do, what would it be?
I do dabble in a little bit of everything. I've done some singing. I would love to better myself at piano. I can sit behind a piano and just kind of boop around and make things, but I don't really know exactly what I'm doing. So if I had to pick an instrument that I would want to like master besides drumming, it would definitely be piano because I could just create anything that comes to my head. And that's such a glorious thing. I love playing acoustic guitar. I love just jamming out with chords and stuff. And playing bass guitar is super fun and very reminiscent of, drumming and rhythm. But piano, also a rhythmic instrument, would be amazing to master. I would love that. My piano player Rob is a wizard. And that dude could just sit there for hours and just make a million things. On drums, it's just kind of the beat, but piano is anything you can put your mind to. So that's what I would choose is piano for sure.
Nice. Yeah, it is such a versatile instrument, and you can really get a lot of emotions, evoke a lot of emotions from it.
Oh yeah, some of my favorite like music to listen to sometimes is just like piano pieces from like Japanese composers from like old video games and stuff. Some of the most beautiful pieces ever made are from like Final Fantasy and stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
those are really good. Those are really good.
Oh, amazing, amazing compositions. And it's just like a guy and a piano. And then I love strings too. So like orchestral stuff is super cool to me. I don't think I'd ever be able to master that. But piano, I'm looking at a piano right now in my room. And I'm like, you bastard, why are you so difficult? But yeah, I would love to play piano more. And I just need to, it's just that's the only way I could get better is just keep working at it and sit down with it every day and just play a little bit. Find some time.
Yeah, and then even like if you think about the science behind it, just neurologically, it's so good to keep your like obviously you keep your brain moving with the drums, but then it's just a different, like deeper aspect of that with piano, you know?
Definitely. Wow. Yeah. No, that's a great point. Yeah. Definitely. Making music is such a beautiful thing for the brain and also just the heart and the body and soul and everything. And piano, you could tap into all of those on a piano. Drumming, you can as well, but after a while, you're hitting it and you're exhausted. You could sit and play piano and write a beautiful ballad, or you can write a crazy Flight of the Bumblebee or something. It's so versatile of an instrument. I love the piano.
So two more questions before we go. But what is a book that, whether it's music related or not, that really has stuck with you?
But I'm in the midst of reading The Lord of the Rings, and I've been in the midst of reading The Lord of the Rings for some time now. I've only actually finished The Fellowship and The Hobbit, but on this tour, I'm bringing all four books with me and I'm completing it. And like the world of The Lord of the Rings is definitely like such an inspiring thing to me because making music is kind of like making little 3-minute worlds, if you will, or making an album is like making 12 songs that all relate in the same universe. And like everything that Tolkien has written in The Lord of the Rings has always stuck with me. But also like the movies of The Lord of the Rings are me and my dad's favorite, and like the music will come on and we'll both start tearing up. And it's that kind of world and universe and just sound of what I mean by like you're visualizing it in the words of like the mood of the world. And you can do that with our music or anyone's music. It takes you somewhere when you hear or read something or listen to something. And The Lord of the Rings always takes me to a happy place. But I've read like some of Stuart Copeland from the Police's book. That's pretty inspiring because he started off as like he used a fake name and like a fake persona to like get his music out there to make intrigue. I forget what his name was, but he like wore a mask in like the New York scene or something, and people were like, "Who is this guy?" And he was just Stuart Copeland from the Police. That was kind of always inspiring to me. It's just like ways to stay creative and ways to market yourself to the masses in unique ways has always kind of inspired me. I'm always thinking of new ways to, make a video with Tropidelic or a music video with Tropidelic. And some books and worlds and stuff like that help me stay creative for sure. But that's great. That's a great point. Yeah, Harry Potter too. I love the Harry Potter books. Also, the music from the movies is phenomenal. But yeah, I feel like there's probably some other books I'm missing out. But that's a great question. No one's ever asked us that. I don't think anyone else has been asked that. Like a James, our rapper, would love that question. He reads all the time. He's a history savant. Like if he wasn't doing rapping and playing with us, he would be a history teacher somewhere. He would love that question. That's really cool.
Well, thank you. Thanks.
Mhm.
Final question, a little bit more of a serious one, but in your own words, what does living a creative life mean to you?
Wow, you hit me with two hard hitting ones at the end. Living a creative life is to just I think you shouldn't be afraid to put out what you create. I think a creative life could mean something totally different to someone else, but I think a lot of people make stuff for themselves, and that's great. If that's what they want to do and is make stuff for themselves and keep it to themselves, and that makes them happy that they're constantly evolving, whether it's music or art, painting or movie making or whatever. I also think it's important to put it out to the world for other people to consume. You don't have to, but to me, a creative life is doing what you love, because you love it, but also sharing that art and that creativeness that you have within you with others, because that sparks inspiration out of other people. I know a lot of people will like write an album for themselves in their bedroom and then never release it. It's like, why? And people can be afraid of criticism, and that's understandable. I mean, everyone is. And then everyone's a critic, so you'll always have that. But to create something and to release it out into the world for others to enjoy, I think is the true meaning of leading a creative life. Because if you're keeping it to yourself, you're almost like, I don't want to say hurting the world, but I want to say like not giving it a chance out there, you know? I think sharing your art, your creativity with others is the greatest thing you can do, because you don't know what it could spark in someone else.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah.
That's what it means to me to live a creative life. You can be creative for yourself, but if you're not sharing that knowledge and experience of things that you've learned and not sharing that with people, then I think it's kind of a miss.
Excellent. And such a good note to end on, thinking about sharing creativity and being creative and how useful and great it is to have in our lives. Rex Larkman, drummer from Tropidelic, thank you for being on the show. Tour going on now through September.
Oh
And
yeah.
as always, check the show notes for all things related to the artists that are on the show. And thanks for listening.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This was awesome.
Thanks for listening to Creative Piecemeal. We hope today's episode left you feeling inspired. This podcast is independently created and produced by the host, Tami Takaishi. More details about today's guest can be found in the show notes, along with links to the podcast's socials, merch store, and ways to support arts organizations AHA Broadway and New Normal Rep, both near and dear to Tammy's heart. Don't forget to visit creativepiecemeal.com, the official podcast website, where you can leave fan mail, write a review, explore Tammy's blog, and discover the growing collection of episodes. Special thanks to our audio engineer, Alex Rapetti. Additional narration by Dante Jace. Let's keep celebrating creativity in all its forms.